Yoga teaches us that we're actually not in control. Yoga, in its essence, is a practice of presence, a practice of mindfulness, and not necessarily a practice of accomplishment. When you're doing anything regularly, especially something that has destination, right, postures that we're moving towards, it's very easy to get attached to the destination. How can I, in this really ninja-like, sly way, help students realize who they are? And not just realize who they are, but really deeply love who they are. And so I think as a culture, we are healing from individualism and self-critique, self-judgment. And what we are needing individually and collectively is this remembrance of who we are. And not just that personality structure of, oh, I'm Jessica and I teach yoga and I'm in this house, but deeper yet, I'm a kind person, right? I'm a loving person, right? That deeper sense of who we are. And if we can realize that in ourselves, and that's also my intention as a teacher, I need to practice it, then we can help reflect it. What makes yoga unique is that we're moving the body physically, and there is that that feeling of working out, of exercising, but we're really intentionally moving in synchronicity with our breath. Right, and that moving in synchronicity with our breath is what's creating that nervous system relaxation and rejuvenation. So it's a really beautiful practice. It's so easy to get distracted from this moment, and yoga in its essence is really a coming back to the present moment. And the breath that we do in our practice, the movements that we do in our practice, the alignment cues that are gifted to us in our practice are all ways for us to return back to the present moment, right? When I inhale and reach my arms up to the sky and gaze up and bring my fingertips to touch, I'm present. As I exhale and glide my hands to my heart, gazing at my fingertips, I'm present. And so the whole practice of yoga is an invitation into presence. So be here now, be here now, be here now, and that's all that really matters. So the biggest challenges I combat in my practice of yoga is the ego. Because the ego will come into the practice and will say, I want to accomplish, I want to master that pose. when the ego comes in and says that, we're actually no longer practicing yoga, because yoga is an invitation to move past that and to return to a place where we're just being with our breath. We're just present with sensation, right? We're noticing. And how that showed up in my practice most obviously is maybe 6 years ago now. I lived in Los Angeles. I'm living in Santa Cruz now, and I grew up in Los Angeles. And I love the yoga community down there, and there's a very amazing physical practice of yoga down there that really resonates with my body. And I was practicing daily. I was working at a yoga studio. Sometimes I was practicing twice a day, and my ego started to come in. I've been dealing with a T4 injury, right, thoracic 4, my spine, a spinal injury for 6 years. And actually, it's not until this year that I'm actually feeling some relief that I actually might have healed it. We'll see. But for 6 years, I had to really sit with, wow, that one moment where my ego came in and the universe said, here's an injury to teach you a lesson. And so I'm actually grateful I have the perspective that everything in life is here to serve me and teach me something. So I'm grateful it happened, because as a flexible, strong, and young yoga teacher, it's important to remember the limitations of my body, and limitations are boundaries that are very helpful. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's get philosophical for a second. In the Yoga Sutras, and the Yoga Sutras are a 5,000-year-old text that really is the platform or the umbrella in which yoga sits. And it says, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the stilling of thought waves. That's Yoga Sutra 2. And then the third Yoga Sutra is Tara Drashtu Swarupe Avastanam. And that means that when I still my mind, when I silence my mind, then I reside in my true nature. And so I think that those sutras really encapsulate yoga, right? If we can not necessarily still our mind, right? But if we can focus our mind, right? Concentrate our mind on something of our choice, not just the thoughts that flow in and out, right? And distract us. But when we say, you know what, I'm going to concentrate, I'm going to focus, right? On my breath. And in that place of a soft mind, a still mind, a focused mind, we really find that place within us where we're peaceful. We find that place within us where we're joyful. We find that place within us where we're loving. And that place in me is that place in you, right? And that's namaste. And I really deeply believe that it is true. 100%. What has been my favorite pose most recently, and it's really stuck around for a couple years now, is Warrior 3. And for most people, they'd say, what? Warrior 3? But Warrior 3 for me embodies both strength and flexibility. Because when hamstrings and the front of the thighs, the quads, the psoas need to be pretty open. And 2, you're pulling the core in, you're lengthening from your heel to your fingertips, so embodies this sense of warrior strength. And so I love this combination of both strength and flexibility, and it's this duality that I bring into my yoga classes. My yoga classes are very balanced between opening and strengthening, and I think the two are important. In Hatha Yoga, sun and moon, lunar and solar, soft and strong, are at the heart of yoga. Yoga is the union of opposites. So for beginner yogis, and for really any yogis, because I think it's important to remember that we're always beginners, no matter how deep in our practice we are, is to keep practicing, right? Keep showing up. And I think when we first start to practice, it can be very intimidating, especially when we go into a classroom and we're surrounded. I teach all levels classes. I don't teach any beginner or any intermediate. It's just an all levels class. And I actually believe that even if you're teaching an intermediate class, you're teaching an all levels class, because people show up no matter where they are in their practice. And so stay focused on yourself. Stay focused on your breath. Stay focused on your practice. If others around you are intimidating, use it as inspiration. And keep showing up, keep practicing. There's so many different teachers out there, so many different styles of practice. And if one practice or teacher doesn't resonate with you, I guarantee there will be many that do. So keep showing up, keep practicing. And then for me, come back to the intention. So why am I practicing yoga? And if I stay really, really, really clear on my intention, then whenever I get dissuaded in my practice, the intention brings me back, brings me back, brings me back. So in conclusion, keep practicing, keep showing up, and remember your intention. Reflect that self-love, that self-realization.